Hey, everybody. Good morning and welcome to BCB Live. Sir Rick, drive safe, the producer. You okay today?
Yeah, I am.
Did you get a haircut yesterday?
No, it's today. Remember, I told y'all it's Thursday.
It's today. So today's you're going to get your
shot.
You're going to get the shot. You're going to get a haircut.
Yeah, and I started walking.
Kind of like a dog. It's like the doggy days.
Yeah,
right?
I know.
You go get your groom and you get your shots.
And I went walking yesterday. I only did a mile and a half, but I did. Started yesterday.
Good for you, man.
Started yesterday.
Thinner today.
Yeah, I
can
feel
see it
thinner.
in your ear. I can see it in your earlobe, actually. So drive safe, Dave. We talked about that before you came in, the producer and I. Today is also the day I'm scheduled for my shot for the COVID.
Yeah.
I told the producer, I don't think I'm going. I don't think I'm going to do it.
You don't care about anybody else but you. And that's it. You think it's all.
I don't think that's the real reason.
Really, I believe that truly is the case.
You don't love Jesus.
Yeah,
It's not that. It's not.
How do we stop a pandemic if we don't vaccinate?
Can't they get it a little bit closer? Why can't they come to me? Do they know me? Look, I got a freaking flag. I'm a knight.
I understand. I understand that sometimes you have to go outside your box and do something for somebody else, right? I understand that sometimes it's not easy doing the right thing.
So you're going today?
I am going today.
And you're going to go early?
I am going to go early.
So you're going to go even though you have an appointment. You know what? My appointment's before yours. I'm going to do something for you. You take my appointment.
Okay.
And we're good.
I want to go get it done, and then I want to go get my haircut, and then I'm going to come back here and go back to work.
It just goes to show once again how Sir Rick continues to give.
Is that what it is?
I'm giving you my appointment.
Are you going to take mine?
For Rick So Love Drive Safe Day.
Are you going to take mine?
And he gave his only appointment to you.
Are you going to take my appointment?
No.
Well, my deal is, so you're wasting a vaccination shot.
No.
Wasting.
No, because
you're wasting it. They have to throw them away if they don't use them.
We don't know which shot it is. If it was the one shot thing,
we don't know what it is.
If they could tell me right now, it's the Johnson & Johnson one shot that I'm going to do. But here's my thing, is if I'm not real sure about going today for the first shot, what makes me think I'm going to go for the second shot?
Because you're already halfway there.
No,
it's like no point of no return.
Not happening.
You know when you get to it on an airplane and you get to that halfway point, it's just as far back as it is. That's the point of no return.
Some say that I've already cured. Some say I'm the cure.
Okay.
I'm just saying,
okay.
You can't make these things up.
Rick,
but I will say, hold on.
Can I just say NASA has called? Did you know that NASA called me yesterday?
Oh, did they? Well,
yeah.
Did they tell you that we're getting ready to put people on the moon in November?
Yeah. No, they didn't tell me that, but they did tell me that Sir Rick is not the center of the universe. They have confirmed that, sir.
Hey, did you see that we're putting people back on the moon?
That's been time. When was the last time?
1972.
Okay. I thought it was. Is it 72? I thought it was 75.
That's what I think.
It's 72.
Bam!
I thought it was 75.
Ask me something else.
Is that the same article that you read?
It's not an article, sir. I don't have it. Just
but I knew it was in the 70s. But we haven't been there in a long, long time.
So do we just lose interest? I mean,
costly.
There's another. What's that?
It's costly.
It's not.
Well, I mean,
that
come on.
costly.
It was in 69.
Is it more expensive than going to Mars?
Dude, is it? Okay.
I mean, expensive compared to what?
We don't go to Mars. Okay, we send rovers to Mars.
We don't obviously go to NASA either. 1972.
Yeah.
What are we going to do? What's the deal? We're going to go up there. We're going to build the storage facility.
Let me just tell you.
I'll tell you.
And I'm going to tell you the really goal of the moon. What really the goal is there?
The really goal.
The real goal of utilizing the moon as a base to launch into deep space. Because you don't use much fuel launching from there, and it doesn't take much at all. It takes like as much as almost what's in a what do you call that? A fire extinguisher to get off of the moon.
Ooh, so not the place you want to go open up a fuel station.
Yeah, exactly. You don't need, but really that's the launching pad because of the lesser constraints of gravity, right?
Gotcha. Hey, I will say this. Hey, first of all, it is Thankful Thursday.
It is Thankful Thursday.
We have an interview today, but it is our day to say thank you for what you do. Thank you for your skill set. Thank you for continuing to work through all that you're still going through. It's not over yet. And you know what? And I'm just going to say this, just because Sir Rick doesn't go get a shot doesn't mean you don't do it. I don't know, I want to say the right thing because that makes it sound like I'm doing the wrong thing.
Exactly. How did you work that all out on your own? Rick, he worked that out on his own. Nobody led him to the right answer. No, I get it. It is a choice, but sometimes we have to sacrifice for others. Sometimes we have to step forward and do what's right for other people, not only ourselves, but other people. And I believe in order to stem the tide of this pandemic, we have found a solution. And for us to deny the solution is for us to deny the fact that over 500,000 people have died and we can't do anything about it.
No, no. Okay. How about this, Drive Safe? Where are we at for days? This is an update. Where are we at, Drive Safe? Do you know?
Yeah.
Producer, you got any late breaking
We're
news
one day away from our record.
5-37 coming in.
5-37.
Yeah,
so one day from tying the record.
One day from tying the record. That's correct.
Listen. When you're at the fuel island today, when you're at a ship or receiver, if you haven't been doing it, get out and look. Make sure there's nothing behind you. Let's not break it this close.
No.
Let's make sure that we continue to focus on safety, focus on being the safest, the best, the numero uno trucking company in the nation. Because we're already the safest station in the nation.
That's correct.
Let's just be the rest of that, Drive Safe. I'll say this right here. Front page news. Supply woes slam the global manufacturing. Front page news. And they're going on talking about all these chips that are missing. I'm not talking about the potato bag chips. Let me tell you, there's no shortage of them. I keep finding them.
Frito-Lay's is pumping them out.
They're still out there. We're talking about the chips in the automobile, and I'm wondering too on the reefer side, but in the phones. You have people right here, and listen to this. Shortages and transport bottlenecks have mounted worldwide for makers of everything from cars, clothing to home siding and medical needle containers. Boy, I can't even read here. It talks about the extreme Texas weather and the port backlogs compounding the problems that we've already had. It talks about Toyota, Honda saying the two automakers are saying Wednesday they would halt production at plants in North America, talking about citing the shortage in from the weather, from the chip shortages. Samsung saying the same thing and saying, man, we are going to have a horrible next quarter because of the chip shortages.
So that's that right there will basically expound, because people aren't going to go to work. They're not going to be able to spend money. They're not going to be able to make money. It's going to create more of a problem create more layoffs. It's going to stem that is not good news.
No, it's really not. I mean, when something makes the front page, you have to read a little bit about it, but it does. I mean, we talked about that storm that we went through, a $1.6 million loss to us at BCB Transport, and we weren't alone.
No.
I mean, it shows you, and it mentions in this thing probably 4 times about the storm in Texas, what it did to manufacturing, talking about the power, right? So many people lost power.
Yep.
Guess what? We weren't working. The backlogs, it all the way through Texas, it sprung all the way through, and it is really now starting to show that ugly head. But you know what? We talked about that, right? We talked about it the day it happened.
Yep.
Hey, guys, this isn't going to take us 10 weeks. This isn't a one-day thing, and it's going on across the country in major companies, big employers.
Wow, you wouldn't think that a simple week could disrupt, but it can.
It can, especially coming off a pandemic, right? Because It's not just been a bad week, but you have a pandemic that's we're almost right at a year now, and then right at it, you shut down one of the largest shipping locations in the country, Texas. And we're not just talking, you got Mexico that's also shipping up across the border.
Correct.
Shut the whole thing down.
Laredo.
It didn't happen. Yeah, so it really goes to show what we're really after right now. It's going to be a tough period right now. I'm going to do a little bit more deep diving into that, see what we can do to maybe get somebody on from one of these companies to talk about what that means to that Texas economy, because it's big time. When you shut down, when you have companies like this talking about shutting down plants,
right,
Dave?
Yeah, big time. Yeah, manufacturing line. You're talking about thousands and thousands of workers, not just but thousands. I mean, tens of thousands of workers, and if tens of thousands of workers aren't getting a paycheck, they're not spending money.
Yep, and it goes on in here, and it talks about how all of this right now, when we talk about the cost, the major shipping costs that are going on right now, because because of the pandemic, because of what's been going on. trying to get anything, overbuying, for materials because you can't get them. Guess what? We pay them, and it talks about that. It goes into how all of this is being passed to us, the consumer. It talks about later on the business side. It also talks about the big increase in the cost of housing, the goods, right? Lumber's gone up. Everything has gone up.
They can't. So my daughter's fiance, he works in the construction business. He's a contractor. He said they can't even get glass. They can't get glass. They have to shut down buildings because they can't get inspected without glass. You have to have windows. And so they have to wait 6 to 8 weeks just for a glass shipment because none of the glass manufacturers can produce enough to provide what they're doing. So they have to stop even building houses.
It's crazy. It is crazy. It goes on and it talks about kind of the bed liners for the hospitals, how a lot of that material comes out of Texas as well.
Right.
How even everything is affected by what's going on right now.
Yeah.
Even the chip shortage. I mean, guess what? If you ordered a truck, it's not coming in right now. All the big trucks, the freight liners, they're all having the same chip issue right now, right?
All of them. And we think about this supply chain. We talk about it as being a chain all the time. Chains are only as strong as their weakest link. And when it's broken, the chain is not strong. I mean, it can't be, you can't use it.
Well, that can be applied to so many other things too. I appreciate that, Travis. I love that analogy. Great analogy. And I promise you, I'll be using that once or twice the rest of this week as well. You're only as strong as your weakest link. Amen. Spoken wisely. Hey, also on here, we had an accident on the Tesla, another Tesla accident up in Michigan. They talk about the Tesla on the autopilot, ran into a police officer on the side of the highway that had somebody pulled over. And again, we talked about that. I think last week, producer, maybe it was off the air a little bit, but we talked about the semi trucks and autopilot and that become driverless. And listen, this made the 8th page on the news. Okay. When it happens with the big truck, that's we saw it on the pile up right in Fort Worth.
Yeah.
It's frontline news. I just, again, when you think about the technology behind that tractor, when it becomes to autopilot, when it starts driverless, whatever you want to say, who's going to own the decision to run into that police? Who's going to own that to kill somebody?
I don't know.
So I do think that, man, we're I don't say a long way, 20 years away. I don't know what that is. Again, we're going to try to work to get some smarter people on it that really understand that side because I think, my big belief is that we don't truly go full automated in the tractors until it happens to the cars, to the school buses. As a country, as a interstate system, as a neighborhood, it's an all or none, I think.
Which in theory would be counterintuitive that you would want it to become, that you would want it to be in to be able to be able to ship goods and services, right? Not passengers on a bus, right? I mean, or not passengers in a car. You would want it to be, to me, it would be, that's counterintuitive, but you're absolutely right. I just don't know what insurance company is going to step up and say, you know what, if it does kill somebody, there'll be no empathy whatsoever to that trucking company or whoever it is.
The technology behind the trucking company.
There'll be no.
Is what I'm saying. I don't think it's a trucking company. At some point, it's a technology behind it. Who owns that technology to say to take the school bus out, not the old lady, or vice versa? Who owns that technology, and who's gonna fess up to? Is Buckle Up Bob coming in today?
I don't know.
I don't know if Buckle Up Bob's here or not. But I do want to say this. We talk about all of this, Drive Safe. We talk about the shipping woes, the transportation, supply issues going on, plants shutting down, and the Dow closed at over 33,000 yesterday for the first time. What does that even mean? I'm producer and I, what is that? What does that mean? I mean, bad. First time ever, 33,000, the Dow shoots up. I mean, what is that, monopoly money? I mean, what is going on with that? It's just like,
Oh, it's I think some of that has to do with investor belief, but we are all counting on stimulus checks, right, to help turn around the country, right? We're all counting on it. Even the producer got his. He went out and immediately bought more groceries than he's ever bought, the expensive bread, right? He went out, and so I believe that maybe some of that is tied into the understanding that everybody in this country, pretty much 90%, are going to get some kind of
if
stimulus.
You're an investor, again, I don't know if is it really all tied to the stimulus?
I think that a lot of it believe.
I think a big jump, but are we comparing year over year numbers? Are we looking at the numbers as an investor right now, and we're saying, "My God, look at these numbers compared to last year. I'm all in on this company." Hey, last year we were in a pandemic. It's going to be better this year than probably last year for many people. But when have we peaked? When had we hit the peak of the shipping, the peak of the trucking industry, the peak of what the bread, right? I mean, at some point we start the downward decline. We start normalizing. All of a sudden now we're opening up vacation spots again. So, hey, guess what? The planes are going to start filling up again. Hey, guess what? When people travel, they don't buy as much other junk.
Right. Stuff.
All right, yeah.
Not as many boats.
Yeah, you guys that sold the RVs, listen, it's not going to last forever. As a matter of fact, it's probably over.
Yeah, and you know what? There'll be a run on used ones next year.
Exactly.
Because there'll be a run on used. The value of those used RVs will go down tremendously because there'll be one and dones. You think there'll be a lot of one and dones?
I promise you there was. There's a lot of people that said, you know what? We're going to do this. They did it. It's like, nah, I'm out on that.
I'm not excited.
I'm out. I'm not doing it. No, there'll be
that was the worst vacation I ever had.
Yes, I promise you. Yeah, this family.
Trapped in a box for 7 days.
This family time, it's overrated.
Agreed. 100% agreed.
All right. Hey, it is after 7:30. We do have the great Buckle Up Bob in the house today, live, in person, 3D. Right?
I don't know about 3D. I don't
4D?
I don't know if it's 3D or 4D. It's definitely.
What is that? Is that 4D?
4D is with time. Time is the additional dimension when you go.
I thought touch was the fourth dimension.
No, time.
3D, like it's coming out.
No, it's like a cube, but time adds the additional dimension. So it goes from moment to moment. That's what that dimension is.
So 4D is the ability to touch?
No, it's the ability to from moment to moment. So like a ball, you can have one in 3D, but for it to roll, you need the fourth dimension. For it to have movement or a moment to moment.
No. Fact check.
Fact checkers.
Fact check.
Okay, come on, let's go.
Seems pretty confident today.
I thought he was just calling me fat because usually the more D's means the wider you are. Shoe size, and you name it.
Yeah, that's true.
The more D's you put means you're wider.
Not all D's are bad, though, right?
I don't know.
I'm David Dover, right?
Well,
yeah, 2D.
Double D right here.
You haven't found me the exception yet. Yeah. Find me an exception to that. All right. Hey, so you're here. You've gotten your shots, right?
Yes.
All right. What are your thoughts about somebody that doesn't go and get their shot when they have an appointment?
I don't know why you wouldn't. Who didn't? You didn't?
No, I'm going today.
Well, because I thought if it's him, I remember a conversation a while back where he was going off on everybody not getting vaccinated, and here he's unvaccinated.
What if it's not him? I mean,
I just don't think it's. I fought this with others, and they said, well, they're not going to put no chip in me. I said, you realize they could have done that already with the flu shot. So I said, I don't know what you think this is.
And there's a chip shortage right now.
Yeah, that's right.
That's probably not happening.
Yeah. But yes, we did get ours, so we are good for a year. We got the 2 shots, so I think
my thing is just a lot of work. I mean, for you, drive safe to go up there to get a shot, you're just rolling up your sleeve. Me, I got to take iron off. I got to take my helmet off. I got to it's a lot.
You know
more
what? I get
find a place to park the horse.
Yeah, it's a long. It's not like just 30 miles to you as a drive. It takes a long time on a horse.
I'll take you. How's that? If you need a ride, I'll take you. That way you can spend the whole ride disarming.
I don't feel comfortable getting undressed in your car. I'll be honest with you. That would be a little odd. So I'll take my chances. I think with COVID before I get undressed in your truck.
Yeah, which is more dangerous.
Wow.
There's a great question.
Yeah, here we go. What do we got going on with the weather?
Oh, it's
Come
more.
on, you got to change this stuff.
I wish
You do have the ability.
Come on, Bob.
I believe you have
Come
the
on,
ability.
Well,
Aren't you? You kind of mentioned that before, so
Yeah, I like
it. Yeah, we got wind and storms again. And one thing I just want to caution everybody, and our drivers did a great job. A lot of them pulled over, did it on their own because the 45-mile winds we were supposed to get in Dallas hit over 60. So again, these wind gusts, the potential's there, and I just believe the system's going to continue it. Again, it's right now there's some thunderstorms in the Atlanta area and the high winds are there. So, and it's just going to mushroom here in a few more hours to cover South Carolina, North Carolina, and even all the way down to Tampa. So, and then up in the north, Illinois, Ohio, Indiana, they're going to explode a little bit with some thunderstorms this afternoon as well. So, and we'll get to that on the maps, but I had a meeting with Scott and the DM, say, hey, we need to watch these mapping. And if you see a driver driving in these areas, hey, I color coded them for a reason. The blue isn't until this afternoon. So they're okay right now. So they can kind of see, hey, if you're in this area, we need to make sure you're under that 60 miles an hour if you're heavy and under 50 if you're light or empty. It is Thankful Thursday, though. So happy Thankful Thursday to everybody. Hopefully the cartoons, I thought they were kind of funny, made you laugh a little bit. I like the one that says, if you hit this sign, you will hit the bridge. That's next. I think we hit a bridge up there in Carlisle one time a few years ago that is clearly marked too. So, and then this other one, I've never seen a sign like this, but there's an actual cow falling off the cliff. And the caption said, how many times do you think this had to happen before they actually put a sign up? The falling rock with a cow coming down.
It's been a tough COVID year.
Yeah, because cows are committing suicide.
It's pushed. I believe the cow was pushed. I don't think he committed suicide. I believe he was pushed.
Cow tipping?
Cow tipping. That's a whole new level.
And we have been talking about this severe weather all week. And so we've got, the hail no, as they kind of put in an article. And it really just talked about the damage of the, what hail does. And it's $15 billion a year to property, crops, vehicles. And then Drive Safe Dave. Oh, you just read it. I figured he probably would know this useful trivia. What's the largest hailstone?
He read it a long time ago. He's got his blue blockers on, so he could read it all the way through the door and everything. I
don't know. I didn't see it.
8 inches in diameter, weighed almost 2 pounds, and it hit 2010 in South Dakota. So that's the largest one in this country on record. So you can get hit by a
that's pretty big. That's a pretty big rock coming out of the sky.
Twice the size of a softball. And usually they shrink, right? You wonder what this thing started as, right? Because they kind of shrink as they come down.
Those are meteors.
Again, our campaign, we've really got some work to do on the speeding. I kind of just wanted to give a midweek check from Monday, and we went up a slight tick over the 70 and then also over the 75. So again, I got to come up with a way to. Most of the drivers are on the call, but some aren't. So it's just a hit or miss there. So just got to really work. That's going to be my focus, is to try to find a game plan to really get. I know we've got one of the things is I've got Scott Shapiro involved. So they're not just hearing it from me. Scott and I are going to start talking to some of these individuals.
So
to save them.
When you talk about speeding, what are you talking about? Because remember, we just told everybody, hey, y'all are doing good. Everything's going great. And so whatever they were doing, they said, you know what? I'm going to keep doing it because it seems to be working. Yeah. And now we're saying, hey, no. Yeah. But what is that to you? I mean, to them, what are they looking at when they're driving?
The only thing that they're not looking at their odometers, that's for sure. They're driving by feel, because I've done that. Look down at your steering wheel. But
when you talk about speeding, what are you saying? When you're saying, hey, you're going, is that 71 and a 70? Is that 36 and a 35? No. What are you speaking of?
We're attacking the ones that are 75 and above, because most of the time, and then we look at the areas, but most of the time, 75, you're speeding over the posted limit. There are a few highways up here in Iowa and that have 75 speed limits, and South Texas, I think, too.
West Texas.
You're going up 35 north here at 75, isn't it?
But, and the thing we want...
I think it's 70.
Well, and the thing we've been talking about, too, is just because the speed limit says it's 75 doesn't mean it's safe or protecting life to do that speed. And so the other thing is we just want everybody to be in check, because, again, the speed in an open highway... probably not as bad, but then all of a sudden they don't slow down. They get used to that, and then we don't slow down when we come to the big cities. And so I think it entrenches some bad habits. So we look at the ones that are only over 55 miles per hour.
Okay.
Because we feel that's a little bit more of an accurate thing, because most of the frontage roads, they're 50, 40s. And so if it picks that up, it kind of takes that out of the equation.
I think we can look our data and tell which one those are. So what you're saying, again, I'm going to ask you to do this with the drivers, because we all need black and white. So I want you to define, maybe not today, for our drivers, exactly what you're looking at, so we can exactly know how to measure the things, right? So if you're talking about over 55, okay, that means when they're on a speed, if they're on a highway or whatever they're on, if it's 55 miles an hour, you're only measuring those right now.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So if they're going 1 mile an hour over, you're counting that as a speed?
It does count. But, and again, when I look at my numbers, like if there's 3,600, a 10% margin of error, okay? So we're still well over the 3,000, and so we're looking more at the numbers.
So again, I'm just going to we're going to talk through this, because if I'm a driver, I'm like, well, I mean, sometimes I'm going to go 56, 57, and a 55 because I'm going downhill, or all of a sudden something happened on that, whatever that is. I'm asking this. I mean, can we go in there and say, okay, well, if you, I only want to see the folks that are going over 3 miles an hour, 2 miles, whatever that is. I mean, can we go in there and take some of those other ones out? Because drive safe, isn't it possible? Or is it possible is there anything that can make us go, we think we're going 55, but we're really going 56?
Absolutely.
What?
Absolutely. It can be. The difference is, if you're just talking about 1 mile an hour, the land is insulated, right? It goes up and down like this, and the truck will climb just a little bit, and you may drop down to 54, right? And then as you crest and you start coming down, you're going to easily crest, and by the time you get to the bottom of the hill, you can be at 56, 57. The truck itself is going to slow down what do you call it? The cruise control. It's not going to shut you down 1 mile an hour over. It's gonna let it ride itself out, and then it's gonna coast you down.
It's gonna tell you, hey, it may
be, it may say, hey, you're at 56
miles an hour.
1 or 2.
So here's my question, I guess, Bob, is this right here is drive safe. When we look at idle times, right, as in the Volvo trucks, we want 0.75% of the idle time is all we want on those trucks that have the APUs in them. They shouldn't idle more than 0.75. However, when we're measuring things, we only look at the guys over 4, because those are your bigger ones, right? Those are the ones you really want to focus on. So I'm asking you kind of the same thing, but instead of these guys that are running 1 mile or over, hey, let's focus on, we're going to focus on the problem ones. These are the ones that, you're going 6 miles, 5, whatever that number is. Hey, this is different. This isn't 1 or 2. This isn't 3 or 4. This is 5 miles over the post. This is enough to get DOT to pull you over. That kind of thing, so we can kind of we can take those exceptions out, right, and focus on that problem side over there. So just something I was thinking about.
No, and you're right, and we've kind of done that. The system doesn't allow us to get really like you can with the.
I'm gonna say we put a man on the moon in the '60s, right? And I'll use that line all day. I'm pretty sure we can get this done. Maybe it comes from Volvo's technology. Or maybe it comes from a different kind of technology.
Yes.
However, I'm going to say there's formulas, there's ways that we can export this out that can identify the problems you want. I promise you that we can find ways to do that.
Right. All right. I will look into that. I do think, that's one of the big keys on vetting the new ELD devices is what they can offer versus what we've got now. We kind of do that a little bit, but there can still be some room for error, because what we do is we'll measure the month. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so I'll give you an example of February. February, we had 6 drivers that had over 400. Mm-hmm. Nobody else was even in that ballpark. Everybody was down in the 150s, 200s. So we figured that's exactly what's happening, probably because they're not in that upper 10%. So we're kind of taking the bottom 10%, if you will, and I'm taking that because, yes, could some of them happen, and we can look at them a little bit more in depth. But if you're getting 450 and over half the fleet's not getting any, what are you doing different than what they are? So I think it suggests the habits that are there. So we do kind of do that a little bit, Rick, but not down to the exact.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's do that. See if we can focus on a group of folks. Again, when it comes to the idle time with Drive Safe, listen, there's folks that are in that 3.3. And I'm saying, you know what? Before we start talking to them, let's get these folks here taken care of. So we're focused on the big problems and addressing those that way. So maybe, let's see what we can do together. Maybe we can put a team together. We got a lot of smart people in this office, No, right, just keep,
sorry.
Yeah, right here.
Wow.
All right,
Wow.
right here.
Right
Just stay right here with me. So,
Wow.
Oh my goodness!
all right.
I tried, Dave.
Yeah, I know. I'm good. I'm okay. I got it here.
But yeah, you're absolutely right. And so but we do that. And what we found even from January to February, and we'll have the March here shortly, is 3 of the 6 were on January 2. So we see the pattern now. Okay, hey, look, there's 3 of you that aren't getting the message, and we got to really focus on that. And then the 3 new ones, it was their first time.
Gotcha.
So.
All right. Good stuff, Buckle Up Bob. Anything else?
No, sir.
Nothing else? We've got some questions up there for us. Producer, who we got?
Yeah, earlier on we had Bobby Harris.
Come on, Bobby. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning. How y'all doing?
Doing
What's going on,
well,
Bobby?
All right. I was just going to make a remark about the cruise control. You can set your cruise control, and if you're going downhill, it will 5 miles over, and then the jake brake will kick in and try to hold you back.
Gotcha. Thank you for that, Bobby. Great point on that. Who else we got? Hey, Bobby, good to hear from you too, buddy.
Yeah, we got Justin Hayes. What do you got for us,
Mr. Justin Hayes, what you got, buddy?
Can y'all hear me?
We hear you loud and clear.
Okay. Nothing on none of that, but I was going to say up in Denton, between today and Sunday, RWP is in town, which is Rednecks with Paychecks. So be aware of people traveling. 30,000 people go to that event. So there's going to be a lot of four-wheelers, side-by-sides, campers, people traveling down the highway. And it's right outside of Denton, so everybody kind of be careful in that area.
And what is that? What is Rednecks with Paychecks? What is that?
It's a mud
Is that a
park.
band?
It's a bunch of people get together with jacked up trucks, four-wheelers, side-by-sides, a lot of drinking, concerts, partying for 4 days straight out at a couple thousand acres. And I can't, man. I wanted to go, but that's 30,000 people, man. That's too many people.
COVID event.
Yeah, exactly.
Do they all have their shots?
Right. But on Sunday, they'll all be leaving. So, just kind of be prepared. People are going in today and leaving on Sunday. And I've got some friends that are going out of Oklahoma City. So just kind of keep an eye out for people.
Good point on that for sure. So thank you for that, Mr. Hayes. Who else do we have, producer? Nobody else. That's it. We got buckle up. You must have answered every question today.
Good
that's
videos.
a first.
Hey, Jerry Streve, what do you got for us?
Yeah, I was going to comment on the back roads. Is there any way they update our GPS systems? Because a lot of times you'll go into a town and it won't be, the GPS won't keep up with the signs on the side of the road. So you'll get over going out of towns. The sign you'll come to the sign that says 65. Well, your GPS won't change over right away. And, you're starting to pick up speed on that.
Hey, Gerald, to kind of talk to that point and even onto highways up and when highways get updated. When we when Mansfield, Texas bought out the highway here in Mansfield, it's no longer a state highway 287. It's Mansfield
157.
Yeah, 157.
Yes,
I'm sorry, 157. It's now owned by Mansfield but the GPSs now they've got to take that data. When this happens, it's no different than the speeds. They've got to send it to the state, who then has to get it updated, who then has to make sure it's updated when these Rand McNally's or Qualcomm or whoever people, and it doesn't matter who you are. Listen, they're only fetching data once a year, once a quarter, maybe. And if they miss that quarter, they miss that year, whatever that company's ability is to go out and get that from those cities, right? Those states, it becomes, all these changes. Sometimes it takes a long time. I'm telling you right now that when you're in your GPS, and we see it all the time because we still see truckers get pulled over downtown Mansfield, is that it's not yet updated on their machine.
Right.
And so I didn't realize that until I was asked to get some help involved in the Mansfield here, but the city came to me and asked about that. And I called the state and did all that. And it was amazing how much work it takes for that little update to get out to all of these providers.
Yes.
And even if the state has it, the city has it, remember, those providers have their own rules of when they're going to go out and fetch that data from all of these places, because it's a lot of work. You know, it's sometimes it's manual. Sometimes it can happen electronically. But all these states to these electronic companies, all these electronic data folks that run these e-logs, hey, guess what? It's not all tied to them electronically. They've got to manually update some of these things, and boy, it just takes a long time. There's no quick answer on that. Sometimes we can have the most current updates, but it's just not updated yet.
It's a year old.
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't know the answer to that, but yeah, I hear what you're saying on that, and I think buckle up, Bob. We would use that stuff, take it into consideration.
Yes,
we'll look at that. We're gonna find some of these things, and again, I think when we go out and look for speeding, we're not going on a witch hunt.
No.
We're finding those that have real problems. That's what my point kind of to you was. Hey, let's focus on the big problems first.
Yeah.
And if that's what we're doing, we're not going after, hey, he was going 29 into 25, drive safe. Let's get him. Let's go get him.
And we're not even.
I think we had 10 in January and 6 in February. And that's a very small percentage. So, you're absolutely right. And the other thing that I found out too in my investigation is you're absolutely right on the EL devices. They're last on the totem pole to get the updates. Google, Waze, right? The ones that everybody uses. Not just truckers.
The ones with the money.
Yeah. All the four-wheelers have the better technology.
Imagine that.
Wow. That's
so.
I was just I run 287 a lot, and then back to back roads in Oklahoma, and I find out I'll be coming out of a town. The sign says 65. You'll be picking up speed. Well, your box will go off because it's actually in a still 55-mile-an-hour zone is what it is. And it's usually rolling into some of them little towns, that they probably won't ever update because the towns are so small.
Possibly.
Yeah, you're right.
And the placement of the sign is where it matters, and then and that's a marker, and it, you're talking about manual entry like Rick's talking about. As long as you're, and I will tell you, and great to mention it. The idea is that you even though that you notice it and you see it and you're following the rules of the road and you're doing what it takes to be safe. That's really what we're talking about here, and to what. And I'll just say to what Bob's looking for. He's looking for egregious offenders of the law.
Absolutely.
And that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about people that are just in flat disregard of what the speed limit is on a regular basis and on a reoccurring basis, so that what we can do is we can go out there and we can find out if there's a error on the ELD. We can find out if there's something going on with the reading or what it is, and we can find out what's going on. This isn't about that. This is about us doing what we can do to make it better for BCB in the long run, right? For you and everybody else out there on the road. This isn't, I've talked to many drivers about the EPU when I first start talking, it feels like, hey, but then when you start talking about it and you start to understand what really is going on here, we're trying to find a better way to work with you and to work better to find good information to you and good information for us out there on the road. And if we can slow down the most or the worst offenders by and put them into an area, or we find out there's something wrong with the data that's being transmitted from the truck. There's sometimes we have, and especially some of the older model trucks, the ELDs don't always read well. It may be that problem. We may need to fix that. We may need to hardwire. We may need to find other solutions. So there are a lot of ways in which we're trying to go out there and get what we can to make this better for all of us.
Yeah, great point. Great comments. We appreciate that, Jerry.
I understand it, and I was just letting you know that sometimes you'll probably see it on my truck, because I'll go through a town and start picking up speed, and because I run a lot of little towns back through there.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jerry. I will say this, Jerry, if you're looking for some helpful advice, is if your GPS says 70 and the sign says 55, go 55.
Yeah. Don't do the other way. Don't do the other way. Don't follow
it's
the
not
GPS.
Either or. So make sure you're following the speed on the road for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just bringing that up. I knew it. It's hard to get all that together, but I was just going to bring it up.
Thank you very much.
Good point. And a great comment. Who else we have out there?
We got Lonnie Payne and then Gerald Baker. What do you guys?
Good morning, Mr. Lonnie.
Good morning, boss man.
Hey,
I just wanted to, I'm blessed, thank you. I just wanted to see if we could go back to that second video, the two trucks there on the strip of ice. One thing I noticed there, not only did our driver do a magnificent job, but on those two guys up in front of him there, man, if they had just used what we preach and practice every day, the guy in the right lane, he's looking at the same thing that our driver sees. Both of them are. Why in the world are they up there side by side like that? I mean, and the guy in the right lane, all he had to do when he seen that clown trying to come around him in those kind of conditions, knowing there's a strip of ice there, knowing he's probably going to hit it, knowing he's probably going to lose control, back out of it, let him go. Don't put yourself in that position. Sometimes, you have to drive more defensive than the other clown. And, if we're going to protect life, and again, our guy did the right thing, but, if the other guy in that position, if we find ourselves in those positions, sometimes you got to see those guys coming. You got to know, okay, let's anticipate what's fixing to happen here. And I think that's the prime example of what we preach and practice here. And just, you couldn't ask for a better example to show people what can happen to you. And again, sometimes our greatest, out is the one in front of us where you can just ease out of it and let them go, I just wanted to point that out. We may have a lot of people that are different, varying experience levels. And sometimes, man, that's the best teacher right there, just seeing the mistake that other people make. So that's all I wanted to point out, boss. Y'all have a blessed and safe day. Love y'all.
Thank you, Lonnie.
Thanks,
Appreciate that. That's, I didn't even see that till you said it, Lonnie, but you're absolutely right. Great point. Great comment. It took you pointing that out for me to see that. Hey, sometimes you've got to back out of it, right? Drive safe. If you see something, it. Don't be part. If you can get yourself out of that problem, hey, get yourself out. Great comments on that.
Yeah, and we've spoken on it many a times. You never want to run side by side ever. It doesn't matter if it's nice weather, bad weather. You never want two trucks running side by side. And if you're in the right lane, and he's obviously trying to pass you, and he's got it all the way to the floor, and you're on cruise. I mean, kick off, get 1 or 2 miles an hour, let him get by, then kick it right back up. You're going to lose nothing, right? You're going to lose absolutely nothing, but a few seconds, and that really doesn't matter. Instead of losing a lot of time on the side of the road dealing with an incident or a problem.
All right, Gerald, what you got for us, buddy?
Yeah, I was just going to say with these ELD devices, when it registers a speeding event, it shows Bob on the event report. It shows him how long you were at that speed. It doesn't just show, oh, this guy's speeding. If you're going down a slight incline and your truck, goes up to 73, 74 miles an hour and it pings you, and then you slow it down, it shows Bob, oh, this guy was at 73 miles an hour for 10 seconds. I'm sure that's not what you guys are looking for. You guys are looking for the guys that are, 28 minutes at 5 miles an hour over or something like that. So people that just hear it ping and register a speeding event, they're not the ones that have to worry.
Thank you for that. Yes, I haven't spent much time in the speeding area on the ELD. I use it for a lot of other things, but there's some answers in there somewhere for that. Great point on that. We have a couple more callers. Who do we got?
Yeah, we got Bruce Windsor and Donna Kasem. What do you guys got?
How about you, Bruce Windsor?
No, it's Wanzer.
That was Miss Kendra. Saying that.
Yeah, I was just curious if you received my videos I sent yesterday afternoon about that truck that blocked the road in front of me.
I did not.
No, he was trying to make a U-turn at an intersection on a 2-lane road and drove off in the ditch and got stuck.
Man,
That's not shocking, is it, Bruce?
No.
Just go down, find a good place to turn around in a safe parking lot somewhere. Always. Don't do it in the middle of the road. Don't do it. Don't don't turn sideways on an oncoming road ever. Don't do that. Don't do that.
All right, Donna Kasem, what do you got for us this morning?
Good morning, gentlemen. Sir Rick, this is a question for you. I keep my idle time down extremely low. I know you see that, and same with Drive Safe Dave. But my question is, on the idle time, I have a microwave that draws the juice down even with my APU running. So when I'm cooking, say using the air fryer part or the oven part, I'll turn my truck on just to, where it's not draining it so bad. And then once it's done, then I kill my truck. Is that going to be an issue or?
No, Donna, it's unless you're cooking for a feast or you're cooking 34 hours straight, you're going to be okay, Donna. I promise you.
Yeah, that's not what the intent is. The intent is the 10-hour break that you're utilizing the APU over a long time. I understand that those APUs they don't shore up as much. Yeah, they don't. What?
You're good.
They don't allow for a lot of shore power for a long Go ahead, Don.
All right, I'm sorry. Yeah, like I said, I take pride in keeping my idle time down as low as possible. So that's all I wanted.
If you're out there feeding the rednecks this weekend and you're idling that whole time, Donna, then we could have. There may be a problem if you're the rednecks with
RWPs.
Yeah, that's not happening. Y'all have a great day, and I love y'all so much.
Thank you, Miss Donna. Hey, Donna, what's your truck number, Donna?
7027.
7027. All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yeah, Donna's coming in. And what, Donna? So Donna idles, for the whole entire, I just did the 7-day period or so far this week. I'm sorry. She's at 0.8 on her idle time. So, so you're 0.02 over your thing. So Donna, you're getting, you're driving 6.8 miles per gallon. You're getting 6.8 miles per gallon. You're not losing anything with your idle time. So you can tell you got a heavy load going one way where you're killing it, and then a light load coming back the other way where you're getting your miles per gallon. So we see both sides of it. No, but Donna, great job on that. This is picture perfect right here. When we get to you, if we're talking to you about idle time, Donna, let me tell you, we're really kicking some tail.
Yes.
I take pride in trying to save everywhere I can, and I sure appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, Jeff Morse, what do you got for us this morning?
Yeah, this is a concern I've had for a while. Is there any way we can get bill boxes on these trailers? So, like last night, I dropped over here at Atomic, dropped trailer over Atomic, and I put the bills in a plastic bag, and I stuck them behind the plate behind the glad hands. Mm-hmm. And the wind was gusting so bad that it blew it out, and I had to call Sean last night and have him to make some bills for the driver who takes that. Is there a way we can get some bill boxes in here, sort of like the one that's on some of the red trailers, that big green one? That way, because I've looked at those, and they've got a little place in there for the registration and inspection and all that stuff. It's got its own little place, and then you just lift up the lid, and you just slide your bills up in there, and then slide that lid back down. And it's away from all the rain and stuff like that, so the bills won't get wet and the bills won't blow away because of the high winds and everything. I was just wondering if we could do something like that.
I do know that on the new trailers that we ordered, I don't know. I'll have to look at the spec sheet to see, but I know that we have so many varied trailers in so many different kinds of trailers from different acquisitions that not all of them are. I wouldn't say it's hard to find any one the same, right, Jeffrey? They're all. It is a true hodgepodge of trailer in that regard. And I know it sometimes is difficult to ensure that your bill of lading is placed securely. I know that what we try to do, especially with some of the equipment, we try to provide y'all with Ziploc bags and try to help y'all in that way to help secure and keep the paperwork fresh and into that. But as far as applying new bill boxes, that's something we're going to have to look into. I don't have a genuine answer. I do know that some of the trailers have them. I do know that some do not.
Yeah, and I also say this too is while we think about this, it's also remember this one thing is that we are quickly becoming a more and more technology advanced industry, not company. We're pretty advanced as a company. As an industry, we're going to paperless billing, right? FedEx is already doing that out.
Right.
That's going to happen before long. I mean, if anything, COVID's going to push some of this stuff right along the way. When you drop a trailer, let's make sure we do this. Make sure anytime you drop a trailer, you are to scan that bill and go ahead and send that in. Hey, so guess what? When it does happen, we can just email that to the driver as well. We can email it. The driver has that on their phone or on their iPad, whatever that is. They now have that bill lading with them. We can send that to the shipper receiver. It's not ideal, but listen, it happens. I get it. I don't know if bill boxes are the answer. I mean, everywhere you go, it then becomes the broken bill box. I'm just telling you, that's what happens. It becomes the bill box that's not there, the bill box that didn't get used, the bill box that didn't get closed all the way. So I hear what you're saying, Jeffrey, loud and clear. It doesn't happen a lot. And what I'm saying is we don't have these issues a lot. And we do have, again, if we're following the technology, I can email the shipper, the receiver, that bill lading, you, the driver, the bill lading. Hopefully one day we'll have a ELD unit as well that can supply that BOL as well inside the system. So just things that we are working on as well. But this industry is quickly going to start moving towards it. It's just going to happen.
It's going to be paperless.
Yeah, it will be paperless, no doubt about it. Who else do we have out there?
All right. We had Donna Kaysen again, then we'll get to Daryl and then Tommy Miles.
Hey, I wanted to add to that. I know a lot of us go to Walmart, and I save my Walmart bags, and I go to Dollar General, and I get a box of baggies for maybe $1 something that I keep in the truck. What I do is I put the bills in the baggie, zip it, put it in the Walmart bag, and tie it to the glad hand or the trailer part so tight that it's not going to blow away. And I don't think I've ever had any issues with my bills being blown away, but I know a lot of drivers don't want to do that, but I also do not tie it to the wiring, the box or anything on the nose of the trailer, because drivers tend to just yank, and that's going to cause a lot more problems. But, that's what I do. I have a lot of those baggies, the big zipper, the gallon bags that zip, and a lot of those Walmart bags or Dollar General bags, they do the same. Tie it and tie it in a knot or whatever. That way it's not going to blow away or get wet.
I, in my opinion, I appreciate that. I've always found that when people do tie them into the nose of the trailer and they put them on by the glad hands, they do tend to somehow encircle those air lines, and then when they do yank, they can break those air lines. I'll tell you, for me personally, I don't know if everybody agrees, but for me personally, I'm more apt to tie it up close to the crank handle, up under the trailer. That way, even though it's there, you're going to go to the crank handle anyway, and it keeps the rain out. It's up underneath the trailer. It's a little bit more secure, and it's not out on the nose of the trailer getting wind and rain on. So I have always used the crank handle up underneath the trailer. That way it's a metal piece, it's a secure piece, and the driver's going to go to the crank handle anyway when he picks up the trailer.
All right. Thank you, Donna, for that. And drive safe. Maybe we need to do a little video on square knots as well, right? I mean, get the old square knot in. So.
All right. Boy Scout stuff coming up.
All right. Who did we have next?
We had Daryl and then Tommy Miles.
Daryl and T. Miles. Who you got, Daryl?
All right. As far as the those bills, if we put them in a plastic bag at the very front corner of your trailer, the very front left corner of your trailer, right up underneath where your electric wires flow, there's a spot you can put those bags right there. And if all the drivers know, that's where they can look for them. They won't get wet. They won't blow out. But there's a hole, and it's basically along that trailer. There's a spot where you can put those where you can actually put them at, and that saves having to put a mailbox or whatever.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. As long as there's no bees under there. Yeah, there's no wasps under there, right, Daryl? As long as there's no, but yeah, I agree. I know exactly what you're talking about. You're talking about the hollowed out frame. You're talking about on the frame, the framing.
Yeah, right up underneath, and I say the front right. I mean the front left corners, because that's where you can easily assess it. You'll know where your bills are, because it's basically where that's where that mailbox is anyway. But if you put them up underneath that corner, there's a spot right there. Just make sure you put them in a bag. That way, if it's oil on those lines, they won't get dirty. I mean, it's an excellent spot. That's fine.
So we just need a SOP.
Yep, we need. Hey, Daryl, I want to appreciate that. And for those of you that don't know Daryl is our local driver. He's been here for many years. If Daryl's saying, he's kind of saying, hey, folks, that's where I would like for you to put them at. You know,
because I pick them all up.
Yeah, exactly. He knows where they go. He does local deliveries, drops trailers. He knows about that. Drive safe, Dave. It looks like we have our next actor for the next SOP video.
I'm good.
So Daryl will be there for you. We're ready to go. Who else do we have?
Yeah, we got Tommy Miles and Brian Thompson. What do you guys got
Miles,
for us?
talk to us.
Yeah, Donna said exactly what I was going to say about the Walmart bags and stuff. I've never just slid a set of bills in and had, always tie them up so they don't take a chance of blowing away.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Miles. How about you, Brian Thompson?
Good morning, gentlemen. I kind of touched base on what Donna was saying about the APUs pulling down. It's not so much the APUs, it's the wattage on that power inverter. Keep in mind that the power inverter's only got so many watts that you can pull. And if you're over half of what it's rated for, it will draw it down regardless whether if the engine on the equipment's running or if it's the APU. Figure that out. Most of your appliances is going to be 120s that you're plugging in, considered. You take that, there is an amp rating on the bottom of your appliances. Take that 120, multiply it by your amps, and that's what the wattage is that you're pulling. And if you're over half of what that power inverter is rated at, it will draw it down regardless of how you run it. Just kind of touch base on that deal with Donna. I also do the same thing Donna's doing with the Ziploc baggies, Walmart bags. Tie them up. They're not going to blow away. Mr. Dave, we're going to come down and see you on that truck this afternoon.
All right, we'll see you, Mr. Thompson.
All right. Appreciate you guys. We'll see y'all shortly.
Buddy, stay safe out there. Appreciate all that you do. We have one more out there. Is that it?
I believe that's it.
All right. We like that. Great job. Great comments, and love the participation. Great show so far. It's so much better when we have the participation from you, from us. This has been a great show. Great topics. Buckle up, Bob. All you got to do is handle that weather, right? Make it a little better for us. You got to do a better job.
Include it in your prayer.
It's going to be included in your review. All right. Well, everybody, hey, we thank you so much. It is time for
HR. Hello, Miss Christie.
Hello. Good morning. How are y'all?
I'm doing good. What's going on?
Well, wanted to mention for everybody that the IRS did extend the filing deadline for taxes to May 17th. and that is for everyone. I know last week I had spoken on Texas, Oklahoma, and Louisiana being extended due to the disaster declaration. That is still in effect. So Texas, Oklahoma, and Louisiana still have until June 15th to file. But for the rest of the United States, the IRS has extended that to May 17th. So that means you can still file an extension until October 15th to file, but that extension does not grant you time to pay any taxes that are due. That's just for your filing. So if you owe, make sure you pay by May 17th to avoid any interest and penalties. Also wanted to mention for company and office, Healthiest You does provide also nutrition services. I know I touched a little bit the other day on dermatologist, but another really great option they have is nutrition services. So if you call them, you can speak with a registered dietitian. They can give you help with staying healthy, eating right, and even managing health conditions like diabetes or high blood pressure. So definitely look into that if you'd like anything like that. I consider it kind of you can use it as a personal Weight Watcher. So you can call them and they'll set up a diet plan for you and they'll tailor it to your dieting needs. So if you want to do keto or you're just wanting to do low cal, something like that, just call them. They're available 24/7. And you can set that up and check in with them weekly, daily, monthly, however you would like. And if you have any questions or would like more information, please contact me at extension 168 or Shelly at 146, and we'll be happy to get that to you. Speaking of Shelly, please remember that today is Thankful Thursday, but it's also the Lowdown with Shelly Brown at 10 a.m. So please tune in to BCB Live, and we will be on there. And if you cannot catch it at 10 a.m., the producer also uploads it, and then it'll be available on Spotify, usually that afternoon, but if not, for sure you can get it the next morning. And with that, we have one birthday today, and it is for Mr. Wayne Pugh. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
And everyone, please continue to do your part. Wear your mask, wash your hands, and use that antibacterial. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Chrissy. We do appreciate it. And it's always nice to know that we can pay a little bit later to the IRS, isn't it? It's always a little bit more comforting to know that we have until May instead of, or June actually in Texas.
Yes, sir.
But we say you can file an extension, but you still got to get your money in.
All right. Well, thank you for that, Miss Christie. We appreciate it as always. Remember to wash your hands still. Take your temperature still. Wear your mask. Do all that you can. Avoid the big crowds still. The rednecks from heaven or whatever that is up in Denton this weekend. Watch out for that. Just watch the crowd. Just put some common sense in still. If you can, and if you're able to, and it's not a lot of work, go get your shot if you can. So,
wow. Still recommended by the CDC and to most scientists around the world. I'm just saying.
Gotcha. Hey, it is Thankful Thursday, which means we have an opportunity to do an interview with one of our drivers. And who do we have today, Drive Safe?
Jonathan Naylor.
Jonathan, you on the line? We see his picture. There he is.
What's going on?
Good morning. How you doing today?
I'm doing very well, and I'm glad to have you on. I'm going to focus this week. I wanted to highlight one of the drivers from the Iowa fleet, and next week we're going to try to highlight one of the guys from the New Hampshire fleet. So basically want to kind of keep you guys and kind of talk to you a little bit and find out a little bit about you and what's going on. So Jonathan, tell us a little bit about you in a sense of where you're from.
Well, I'm from Iowa, originally from Iowa. I moved out to West Virginia when I was 14 because I played sports a lot in our schools there in Iowa. Their sports teams weren't too good. I played basketball and football.
Oh, you did? What position did you play?
I was point guard and played basketball, and I played linebacker in football.
Oh, wow. Good stuff.
Yep, in West Virginia, they had a nice big school. It had way more than what we had in Iowa, so I figured it'd be a better opportunity for me. So I moved out there, and I graduated, and right after I graduated, my grandmother had got really sick with Alzheimer's, and I lived with my grandma and my dad till I was 14, and then I moved out there. But when I found out she had Alzheimer's, I had moved back to Iowa when I was 18, and she passed away 3 years ago. So she held on for quite a while, and I've been in Iowa ever since. I've been back here since I was 18.
Nice, good stuff. And so besides West Virginia and Iowa, you pretty much lived in just two places, right?
Yep, I was born in Indiana, but I don't remember much of that. I was just a baby.
I don't remember when I was born either. I know where I was born. I don't remember.
I can just look at my birth certificate and see where I was from. That's about it.
I got to follow the dotted line on that one as well. So I know. So, hey, so the big news is, Jonathan, and I want to get right to it. You're a new dad, right?
Yes, sir, I am. 2 months ago, almost 2 months ago.
Tell me, new dad, why don't you tell me a little bit about the new baby, and then also let's start there. Just tell me all about the new baby.
Well, her name is Cheyenne. I get her name confused because that's my middle name. That's what my grandma wanted to name me, and then I was a boy, and it broke her heart, so I went with John, and then made my middle name Cheyenne. So we made the little girl, her name Cheyenne Harlow Naylor. She was born January 31st. She's growing like a sprout. She's got this thing she likes to do. She is a grunter. She makes a lot of noises, so I think she's going to be a talker. And she has a big sister. I got a daughter named Serenity, and she is 5, and she is like probably the best big sister ever. She changes diapers. She feeds her. She even wake up in the middle of the night and feed her.
Wow.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And it's nice that she's going to have a big sister, somebody she can look up to and be by her side. You know, she's 5 years older, so that's kind of trouble when they get older, but that'll happen when it gets here. Right? I ain't looking forward that far yet.
So are you changing any diapers? Are you doing any feeding? Are you doing any diaper changing? I'll feed
her. I'm not really into the diaper changing thing. I got the 2 ladies at home. They can do that. I'll feed her a bottle and hold her, and put the diaper change. I'll leave that to the ladies.
Oh, wow. Dad's got a certain role, a certain thing he's got to do. And then let's not go outside the box, right? Let's make sure we stay in the group.
Yeah, but I'm not married, but me and my girlfriend, we've been together for 8 years. I don't know. I guess we kind of look at marriage as like we're pretty much married. I mean, the only other thing we don't have is a piece of paper that says that we're married. Yeah. But it does make things difficult not being married, like tax situations and stuff. Everybody's like, why aren't you guys married? But maybe one day we'll get there, but we're not rushing nothing.
Well, I get it. Maybe you ought to just go up to the courthouse for tax reasons alone, right? And that way.
Yeah, I know. That's what I told her. We might as well just go up there and just say, hey, we're getting married.
You don't have to make a big production of it if it's not, if that's not what you want. But you know what? I think you need those married filing jointly tax deductions all day long. You know what I'm saying, Jonathan?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because everybody looks at you different. Like if you're not married, I don't know. It's just weird. Like, I don't know. Like we've been together this long. Like, I don't know. It's just crazy.
I get it. So sounds like a lot about. So big, proud, beaming fathers still though, right? Big, beaming, proud and everything, right? Can't still hold the baby
up.
I
love my kids. That's what keeps me going out here, buddy. That's my motivation.
So so tell me a little bit about your driving career. Let's get over to that real quick.
Well, I'm not too old. I'm only 30 years old. So a lot of these guys out here has been driving as long as I've been alive. But I started riding with my grandpa in the semi when I was probably like 7, 8 years old. Every vacation that we had from school, he drove cabinets out to California from Waterloo, where we live. And any opportunity I got, I was with him in a semi because we'd go to Vegas and I'd get a $100 bill and go in the game room and have a heyday. But I did like to ride in the semi. Now my dad's a truck driver. He's still a truck driver. I started off working construction. Then I got my CDL. I drove a dump truck for them. And then I moved over to hauling all their equipment around, their excavators and bulldozers and all that. And then it got to where I was doing that plus working. And I was like, well, if I'm going to be a truck driver, I'm going to be a truck driver. I'm not going to be a truck driver and dig a hole for you. It just don't make sense. So then I decided that I would move over to being a truck driver, and I think I've been over the road now for about 5 years, and it's nice. I know it's a lot different than what it used to be back in the day, but it's a peace of mind for me. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, it is a different way. You know, I listen to guys and I it's so funny. I just want you to know, Jonathan, I'm going to tell you a little secret. Don't let your kids play with trucks. Don't let them ride with you in the truck. Don't let them get around trucks. You know, hand them stethoscopes, right? Or law books, or let them play with a gavel or something that will get their interest. Don't let them be right, Jonathan. You don't want them, because you, like me, you probably fell in love with trucks a long time ago, and it just gravitates you to that, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's definitely, it's like a family thing, I think.
It is, and it gets in your blood, and I just think you just need to keep trucks away from kids, or otherwise they're just going to fall in love with them and play with them and stuff like that. I never let my daughter have a truck when she was growing up. Never let her own a truck, carry a truck, play with a truck. I just wouldn't do it.
I give her an airplane, then she don't have to deal with traffic. She can just fly over everybody.
Exactly. So, you know, Jonathan, you've been driving 5 years. You know, that's exciting. It's nice to know that it's nice to know that there's young people out there on the road, family oriented, coming out, doing the things that are necessary. Hey, so let's talk about, what do you like to do when you're not in the truck? What is it you like to do? I know you got them babies, but what do you like to do with them? What is it Jonathan likes to do when he's not in the truck or just by himself? What does he like to do?
Well, we like to go to the park. My oldest daughter, that's 5, she is like, if it's nice outside, she thinks she has to be outside. So we go to the park, we like to go out and eat. But one thing that we really like to do is go to the races. We watch dirt track races. I don't know if you guys, I know there's a couple tracks down in Texas.
Right around the corner from my house.
Yeah, but we do a lot of dirt track races when I have the chance. I've been to states like everywhere, Florida, North Carolina, everywhere. Me and my dad actually was at one race in West Virginia, and it was a Saturday race, and the people next to us, they asked us where we're from, and we said we was from Iowa. And they said, "You came all the way here for this?" And we said, "Yeah, we sure did." So me and my dad, back a couple of years ago, we was really on a race thing. We'd go all the way to North Carolina for a one-day race and then drive right back home.
So let me ask you, does your dad still drive?
Yeah, he does.
Oh, wow. Why is he work? Is he going to work for us?
Man, I try, but that's a whole nother story. He works for an owner-operator. Just put it at that.
Oh, okay. I get it. I just saying it.
He ain't leaving that long.
I'm just saying, let's keep it in the family. We got a chance. No, that's good stuff.
I try. What he says when he's done with his paper logs, he'll come over here.
Yeah, I get it.
That's what I said. We'll just leave that alone.
So yeah, you know, so you're kind of the new generation to me. You're kind of the new driver, the driver that's coming out and got a good impression. And I know you sit here, you talk about older guys, and that is what it is. And you know, that's going away. I can tell you back in the day, those days are gone. They're gone forever. And what's important is what's now and what's coming up and what we've got to look forward to. And I look at, what do you see? How do you view, and I know this is kind of hard because you don't have a lot to place on it, but I'll tell you, what are the things that you like the most about trucking?
Well, I like, just the peace that I get. I mean, and I guess not having somebody over my shoulder all the time telling me what to do. I mean, I just do my job and I get it done and everybody's happy.
So you've been with, so tell us how you came to work for BCB. Tell me that a little bit.
Well, I was working for Warm, as you know, up there in Iowa. And to tell you the truth, when it switched over to BCB, I was not happy at all. I wasn't going to work for BCB because I've never worked for a big company, and I hear all these horror stories about big companies. And Warm was real tiny. It was just me, Mark, Chad, and Mickey. And the company I worked before that, I worked for an owner-operator, so it was just him. And then when I heard about BCB and they got like 300 trucks, I'm like, well, I'm going to be nobody now. So I was done. And I had a phone call with Rick, and he changed my mind, and I've been here since, and I really, really appreciate it, and I like it. I mean,
you're not nobody here, right? You get that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and that's what I was scared of when I heard of big companies. Because, I mean, all the stories you hear in big companies, they're all bad. I mean, you're nobody. They'll put somebody else in your seat and send you down the road.
I understand that. And I'm just going to tell you that there's big companies, and then there's big companies, and then there's companies. To me, the big companies are the monsters, the ones that the Schneiders and the Werners and those the larger companies that are different from us, right? They have thousands and thousands of drivers and do many different things. So I hope that we always continue to keep that closeness, that one-on-one, and that so that you understand that we're not too big for our shoes to understand how much we appreciate the drivers and what they do and who they are and how they do it, right? I just don't want us to ever have that in that mentality. I hope that you realize that and you see that, and I think that you have seen that since you've been here and since you came over.
Exactly.
Hey, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was going to say, I'll just make a little short story. I had a Trans Am truck stop about a month ago. He hit the back of my trailer. It didn't do no damage to my trailer, but it wiped out the whole front bumper of his truck. You know, that guy has never been in a truck by himself his whole life. He went from trucking school to they hired him and put him in a truck. And, you know, that kid, when he hit me, he was only like 22, 23 years old. He was outside crying because he said they made him drive from Amarillo all the way to all the way to Denver with a window that wouldn't even roll up. He said he was coming down hills and stuff, and he said he didn't know what a Jake breaker was or nothing like that. I mean, just stories like that to see how people treat people and then how I get treated here. It's awesome. I mean, I really appreciate it.
You know, those are some sad stories, and you know, that's the reality of what's going on out there. And I hope that we can continue to be a better group of people. And I hope that you talk to him, Jonathan, and explain to him and helped him.
I did. I told him don't give up because he was ready to quit and all this. And I told him, I said, it'll get better, man. I even gave the guy some money to eat because he said his first load, he got stuck in the mud and he had to get towed out. And they took his money from him for that load because he had to get towed out. He had no money. And I just really felt bad for the guy.
Yeah, that's awesome. That you know what, that's truckers helping truckers, and I appreciate you for doing that, man. And I hope that mentality moves forward with you and all the next generation, because we're out here together on the road, and I really, really, really like that. So I know that you're on the show a lot, right? You listen quite a bit.
Yeah, but I try to listen twice a day if I can.
Yeah, it's pretty. So what is it? What about it, Jonathan? Do you like? What is it that you like about the show? Because you're on here way more than what's required. So to me, it tells me there's something here that you might enjoy, or you might like, or you might think is cool. What is it?
Well, I just like how you interact with everybody. I'm kind of a quiet person. I don't talk much. I just keep to myself. But the weather stuff, and then letting us know what to look forward to, and the safety videos, and I don't know. It's a pretty cool thing how you guys look out for us and don't just worry about the load. It's more about us than the load. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, you know, that's what and I'm glad that you see that and that you know that, because that's what's really true. And I want to continue to make sure that moves forward in what you believe and what everybody believes as they continue to be here on the show. You know, Jonathan, you came over from another company that was acquired, and I know the apprehension, man. I just want to say thank you for what you do. I want to say I appreciate the hard work that you do. You know, and in speaking about when you come over, is there anything that you can think of? And I like to ask every driver this: is there anything that you can think of if you had one positive thing that you could change, or one thing that you could change to make better for the company? What might that be?
I don't know. That's a hard question. I don't know much.
So many,
other than me, I don't know nothing other than the overweight loads at Nestle in Denver. It's the only thing I hate. But other than that, there's nothing else, man. I mean, it's cool. I like Chad a lot. Me and him get along great. Mark, he's in the office too. He'll call me and just ask me how I'm doing. He's called before and asked me how my dad's doing and stuff. So, I mean, they're real caring up there too. We get along great.
Wow,
I'm glad nice, I got Chad as the guy in my corner. Just put it that way.
No, I appreciate that. I appreciate you giving it a shout out too. You know, it's important that we connect with each other, and it's important that we understand one another where we're at, and that's what makes it different, right? And that's how we try to be. And I try to pick up the phone and call people and to let them know that, you know, and make it not just a message over the RAND, right? I try to make sure that those calls are for real, and I do appreciate Chad for doing that with you, and you continuing to stay in touch, man. That's awesome. You know, Jonathan, you're the next generation, and you're the new trucker. You're the new wave, the new guy, the new fleet. And I know you've been driving a while, and I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean that in a great and positive way. That people of your caliber and your professionalism and your ideals are continuing to move forward into the industry that we love so much. Man, it really makes me feel good about where we're going. You know, we all talk about the old days and stuff like that about, you know, trucking's not like it used to be. But I'm telling you, as long as we have individuals like you coming into the industry and making a difference in the industry and continuing to be helpful, kind, and considerate for the other driver and understanding what they do, man, that makes a big difference for what I see as trucking in the future. You know, that to me is really, really the gold, the icing on the cake when I look at what's going on out there today. You know, we can all sit here and say how much it's changed, how much it's different, and how much it's stuff. But I'm going to tell you, with guys like you, Jonathan, I can look at it and say, you know what? It's getting better. It's going to be better, and it's going to be better than when I left it and then when I stopped, you know, and because of guys like you coming out and doing a great job and continuing to make things good for everybody else. I appreciate what you do, and I thank you for coming on the show today and introducing yourself and letting us as a group, as a family, get to know you, get to know about you and your family, your wonderful family, and get to know about where you're from and what it is you do. And man, I want to say thank you for doing a great job and continuing to be a BCB player.
Well, I thank you guys for the opportunity when we left Warm to keep our jobs and keep everything how it was. I got to keep my truck. That was the main thing. I was so worried about that. I've had this thing since it had like 2,000 miles on it. It's got 222,000 on it almost.
All right. Well, good stuff, man. I'm glad that you like it. We're going to continue to make sure that it stays safe. I make sure let me get that PM on that truck, right?
Yeah, I just got that done last night.
All right. That's what I like to hear. Taking care of the equipment, taking care of your family, and taking care of the industry. Awesome stuff. And go. All right. Appreciate you. Thanks, Jonathan. With that, I'm going to go ahead and close with a prayer. All right. Thanks, Jonathan. I'm going to go ahead and close with a prayer while we have a chance. Dear Heavenly Father, we humbly gather before you today as your children seeking your grace. We ask many things of you, and of these things that we ask you, we ask for your love in all things that we do. Father, thank you for every driver out there on the road today, making a difference in our lives and what we do. Father, watch out for them, protect them, and keep them safe. Keep them successful in their lives and help them enrich their lives with their family and what they do going forward each and every day. Father, we also ask that you watch out for them and keeping them safe-minded, safe in action, and safe in whatever it is they seek and do today. Father, we also ask today that you reach out and help those that of the drivers or the people here at work, of their families that may be sick or may be ill. Father, we ask that you give them the comfort that is needed and warm their hearts inside and show them the love that will make their day a brighter day. Father, also give us the courage and the ability to be a blessing upon somebody else today in some way. Give us the strength to do that, to go out and do your will upon the world today as we see it. Father, we ask all these things in your name. Amen. Hey, everybody, be safe, be kind, be considerate, and be a blessing upon somebody else today by not only taking care of yourself, but by taking care of the person next to you each and every time. With that, God bless, Godspeed, and drop the mic.